Hi, I'm Pam Mason. I'm running for Student Council President, and you're listening to the Mason World Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast. Building your business one night at a time. Dad rocks.
Episode 26.
You can do it right when it's late at night. At the end of the day, your dreams burning inside. So keep it up and you will find that you're building your business one night at a time.
You're listening to the MasonWorld.com Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast with your host, Mark Mason, building internet businesses one night at a time.
Hey, shout out to Pam. I really appreciate her kicking off the show today. She's awesome. She is running for Student Council President at her junior high school. You can check out her very cool Facebook fan page over at facebook.com/Pam for President. And she is doing great at that. And she's quite the little singer. She sings first soprano, both at church and at her school, and she's very talented. I just had the pleasure of seeing her in her recital. She sang a piece from Sweeney Todd. It was really cool. You know, it's neat to be a parent and to have wonderful children who do cool stuff. So thanks a lot, Pam. I really appreciate that. I wanted to give a shout out to all of the people that are listening to me on Stitcher Radio. Thanks very much for checking me out. It looks like the data shows that we're up to a couple of hundred listeners on Stitcher, which is totally awesome. I just got on Stitcher not too long ago, and I love it. I have the app on my phone. The thing that I like about Stitcher Radio, there's something I like about it as a user and something I like about it as a podcaster. As a user, I like it because no matter where I am, when an episode drops for one of my favorite podcasts, I can get it because it streams live on my cell phone over the magical airwaves that are the cell phone network. So I don't have to be on Wi-Fi in order to get that download, which is really cool. The other app that I use on my iPhone needs Wi-Fi, or it prefers Wi-Fi. It's more of a download and play sort of app. And this is a streaming app, which is really neat. So that's why I like it as a user. So definitely check that out. You can find me at masonworld.com/Stitcher, STITCHER. I'll have that in the show notes. But really like those people over at Stitcher too. They were really helpful getting the show imported into the Stitcher platform. And I just want to give them a little shout out. So thank you very much. Go check out Stitcher. It's really cool. The interface is pretty neat, and whatever your platform is, pretty much, I think Android, BlackBerry. I'm not sure about the new Windows phone, whether or not they have an app out for that yet or not, but certainly iPhone, Android, BlackBerry, all that kind of stuff. Stitcher Radio is going to be there for you. The reason I like it as a podcaster is there's a lot of rumors about where Stitcher's going to land. And one of the places that they may land is in automobiles, which would really be cool if my show was streaming in people's cars when they rolled off the assembly line. I'd really like that. So definitely check out Stitcher Radio at masonworld.com/Stitcher. So it's war out there, people. I'm telling you, you can hear the helicopters. We got gunfire. It's Google Armageddon. There's no doubt about it. Okay, well, maybe it's not that bad, but Google has been going crazy. And so what I thought we'd do with this show is we'd spend some time not just talking about this kind of tactical stuff about, you know, what's Google doing this week and what do we need to do next week to counteract what they did this week. But I wanted to spend some time talking about kind of the fundamental thinking behind all this Google stuff, and maybe that will help us try to understand what's going on with Google. Now, the first thing I want you to do is think about a couple of quotes I pulled out of an amazingly massive blog post over on viperchill.com. If you haven't seen Glenn's blog post over there, it is the most amazing, massive. I was going to write an ebook, but I made it a blog post instead. Blog post about the future of blogging. And it's about a lot of different stuff about blogging, but he's got a couple of Google quotes in there that I want to consider here. from Google engineers that have to do with a blog post, but I think they're relevant for this discussion about Google stuff that's going on with Google. He quotes Amit Singhal from Google, who says, quote, "With things like the Panda update and the many other Google changes we have to keep up with, worrying too much about search engine tweaks is rarely your best strategy. After all, there are a ton of them. Just last year, we, Google, launched over 500 changes to our algorithm. So by some count, we change our algorithm almost every day, almost twice over." And that's what Amit has to say. And then Scott Huffman, also from Google, he says, "There are almost always a set of motivating searches, and these searches are not performing as well as we'd like. Ranking engineers then come up with a hypothesis about what signal, what data we could integrate into our algorithm." That's what Scott has to say. So basically imagine this. Google is a place where they change their search engine traffic. I mean, they change their search engine algorithm more than once a day on average. And there are a bunch of engineers sitting around looking at search results that they're not quite exactly happy with, coming up with new algorithms to load the pipe. So that's what Google is. Google is a place where they're constantly changing the search algorithm. So let's say you're an affiliate marketer. I mean, I do some affiliate marketing. What is your business model? What's my business model? So my affiliate business model is basically to get traffic. And what I'm going to do with that traffic is I'm going to convert that traffic into money some kind of way. That's my mission as an affiliate marketer. Now, usually I don't pay for traffic. I usually look for free traffic. So in order to get my money, I need to rank in the search engines. And it turns out, you know, as we all well know, Google has most, not all, but certainly most of the search engine traffic. And it turns out, if you really are honest about it, most of the affiliate marketers, they don't really care too much about the searchers. They care about their clicks, but they're not really, their first goal, really, if they're really honest with you, is not to delight the people who search in Google with the search results that they get on their website. Rather, their goal is to capture the search engine traffic and redirect it to another site as quickly as possible so they can secure the sale. Sure, are there great affiliate marketers out there that are really adding value to the sale? Absolutely. Is that what I recommend? Absolutely, because content is king, and if you add value, you can build a real business. But the real truth of the matter is, if you go out and look, affiliate marketers are about getting traffic. Some of them, many of them, getting traffic at any cost and converting that to money. Now let's consider Google's business model. Google's business model is to get traffic. Hey, it's the same as the affiliate marketers' business model. They need traffic too. And the way they get traffic is by being the best search engine on the planet. As soon as there's a better search engine on the planet, people will go somewhere else. I mean, look at Yahoo. We all used Yahoo search in the beginning. Actually, in the very beginning, we used the Yahoo directory, for those of you that are old enough to remember that. We used Yahoo search. Google became better. We started using Google. And bottom line is, the best possible search results translates directly into ad revenue for Google, because if they've got the best possible search results, then that means that they're going to get the most traffic and they can convert that into ad revenue. Now, keep in mind, the searchers are not Google's customer, but they've got to keep the advertisers are Google's customer. Don't ever forget that. The searchers are not Google's customer. Affiliate marketers darn sure aren't Google's customer. I can tell you the people that advertise in AdSense, even the AdSense people that are providing places for AdSense ads to be placed, they're not the customer. And webmasters are not Google's customer. The customer is the advertiser. So the bottom line is, all Google really cares about in their business, and this is great, is providing the best possible search results they can. They don't care about the traffic to your website. They don't care about anything but providing the best possible search results. And it's not because they care about searchers, it's because they care about market share, which drives ad revenue. Now, that's really important to understand. Listen to what Jonathan Leger has to say. He says, Google doesn't care about your business. Repeat that with me. Google doesn't care about your business. In fact, I'd argue that in order for a search engine to be unbiased and fair, it should not care about what its algorithmic changes do to any specific website's business. Whether or not Google will ever actually achieve that goal isn't the point. The point is that you should not, no, you cannot rely on search engine traffic alone in a long-term business model. So that's what John Leger has to say. So there's a conflict, bottom line, between affiliate marketers and Google over searchers. Google wants the best possible result, and affiliate marketers want traffic no matter what. And the best thing you can do is provide the best result, be the best result. And that's why, you hear all these knucklehead gurus on the internet saying content is king. They parrot that. They don't ever tell you why. That's why. Because ultimately, Google's ultimate goal and all the billions of dollars they have and PhD level computer scientists that they have are bringing resources to bear to try and find the best result for a search. So your best defense against that is to be the best result. Now, that begs the question, how does Google decide what the best result is? And that's what all these updates have been about, is tinkering with the best result. But the fundamentals of SEO are still the same. No matter what Google does to the algorithm, they have to decide what a page is about and whether or not the page is valuable. And they need to find the most valuable page that's about the search topic that the searcher put in. So if you put in blue suede shoes, they need to look at all the pages with blue suede shoes, decide which 10 are the best, and put that on the first page. Now, there's two major categories of signals that they use to decide those two things. There's things that are actually on the pages that they're trying to rank, and there's things that happen other places on the internet that influence the ranking of the page. We call that on-page SEO and off-page SEO. For on-page SEO, we think about things like titles, header tags, body text, what text is bolded, what related words, semantic indexing, what related words are on the page, image tags, things like that affect what's on-page SEO. For off-page SEO, we generally think about the most important thing from an 80-20 rule in the past has been links back to the page and what anchor text is used to link back to the page. Now, if you don't believe that this is the most important thing in the planet, I've mentioned this before on the show, go to Google and Google for the result for the phrase click here. And what you will find, which still amazes me, if I ever get to talk to Matt Cutts, I'm going to have to ask him what's the deal with this one page. There are the number one result for click here is and has been for years the download page for Adobe Acrobat Reader, because everybody in the world on the internet says, if you need to read my PDF file, you can get the Adobe Acrobat Reader, click here. And those anchor texts from all over the world have for years and years and years pointed to that download page over at Adobe. And so Adobe ranks for the term click here. The words click here do not appear on the page. So it's amazing to me that that's the case, but that tells you backlinks are really important. So off-page SEO really comes down to these backlinks and more recently social signals. And that's how they're telling whether or not pages are important. So there's two issues here. What page is important and what is the page about? To tell whether or not a page is important, they look at backlinks and social signals, most recently Twitter, Facebook, and of course Google+. But they're also starting to look at some on-page signals. They've recently introduced this over-optimization penalty. If your on-page SEO is too good, they smell a rat and they will penalize you. They look at your site quality. I call this the Panda penalty. If your site is matches their algorithm, their anti-bad site algorithm, they'll penalize it. And then there are roughly, it's said that there are roughly 200 or 300 more things that are known pretty much only to Google that they put in their algorithm to decide what pages are important. So, because of this, as affiliate marketer, our task has been clear always. It is to optimize our pages on page and to get backlinks with the right anchor text to our site. The problem is backlinks are kind of hard to get because the average person, your mom, your sister who doesn't have a website, doesn't have a website. So the average person can't give you a backlink. So let's say you've got the best children's snuggly blanket on the internet on your site, and moms all over the country think that you've got the best description of this blanket and you're an affiliate for this fuzzy blanket. The problem with Google's algorithm really fundamentally is that moms all over the country can't give you a backlink. They don't have a website. Mommy bloggers aside, most searchers that are buying affiliate products don't have the ability to cast this vote that Google is looking for to create a backlink. And that is really the biggest problem. My mom doesn't have a way to vote for her favorite websites. Now, she does have Facebook, and that's why Facebook and other social media is becoming more important, because shoppers, particularly the general shopper, does not have a website, but they do have Facebook. And so that's why those kind of signals are becoming more important. But the bottom line is, since people can't really do this, and we need those links and they're hard to get, that has created an enormous demand and people coming up with systems so that you could buy links. It started off with people selling links, paid links on different websites. And most recently, it's been these blog networks that have been cropping up all over the internet, some of which that I use. Linkvana, one-way links, and so forth, Build My Rank, BMR. All of these blog networks have popped up all over the internet, and people, including me, use them to supplement their backlinking strategy. And, it's just part of playing the game. We can talk about whether that's okay or not. It's certainly risky. There's a question of whether or not it's okay. Certainly, it's true that if you rank a junk page and you don't make the internet a better place, that's kind of yucky. There's a lot of discussion that can go around that, but the bottom line is these blog networks have come along and created a problem. So the most recent slaps, Google's been trying to get after all this junk content on the internet created in a large part by affiliate marketers, and there have been at least 5 slaps in recent memory that people want to talk about. One is the Panda Slap. We've been over that before. This is an engineer named Panda at Google who wrote algorithms to look at sites that had been reviewed by humans, learn what the humans saw, and then apply that broadly over the internet. It was recently announced that Google was starting to penalize sites who had ads above the fold. The idea being, if you've got an ad above the fold, you don't really care about your readers. You've written that to optimize ads, and that may not be a good thing. Google recently has talked about the over-optimization penalty, where if SEO keyword density is too high or other flags that they're looking for, they will give the site a penalty, or the page rather a penalty. And then the big thing that set off this firestorm was the de-indexing of blog networks, where Google went in, and the first one to announce this, that at least that I became aware of, was Build My Rank. And, they had thousands or tens of thousands of blogs fall out of Google's index overnight. So for those of you that don't use blog networks or don't know what they are, let me talk about what a blog network is. So usually with a blog network, you pay money and you're able to submit articles with backlinks to your site, and spun or not spun, and propagate them to tens or hundreds or thousands of seemingly unrelated blogs all across the internet. So it looks like to Google, once all that stuff gets indexed, that there are tens or hundreds of backlinks to your site with the anchor text that you pick and so forth. And so they started, as we knew they eventually would be able to, they have started uncovering these blog networks and de-indexing them. And of course, once they're de-indexed, then their links have no backlink value to the user, so the blog networks are dead. And the Build My Rank guys, much to their dismay, woke up one morning and thousands of their blogs had been de-indexed, and they, I was very impressed with the way they handled it. They emailed their users and they said, "Hey guys, game's up. We're shutting down. Thank you very much, and we'll be back when we get this figured out." So that happened, and the question is, how did that happen? Now, Zach Johnson had a guest post on his blog that was pretty interesting. He speculated, the guest poster speculated, that maybe this has something to do with Google's privacy policy, because you'll remember Google changed the privacy policy just before all of this stuff started going down, and a lot of people are speculating, are they using AdSense IDs or other, webmaster tools information or other information that they're gathering from webmasters and then turning that around and using it against them to uncover blog networks. I thought that was a pretty interesting speculation. But the blog networks, the thing that seems to be true, after talking to some friends of mine that have blog networks that have run analysis on how they were able to uncover these blog networks, is they found candidate blogs that look like they were in a blog network. You can usually identify as these because they have tons of unrelated posts. A lot of times the posts are very low quality, always have 3 or 4 outbound links per post, and every post on the site is like that, seemingly unrelated and so forth. So they're pretty easy to find. Once you find one of them, one of the ways that you can find more of them is by looking at the domain registration, the whois data, and finding other blogs that are owned by the same person and inspecting them. And so one of the signals that my link network buddies are seeing is that in the cases where they have multiple blogs with the same domain registration information, when one of them goes down, multiple go down. They go down in groups. So it's pretty clear that Google is doing that kind of analysis as well. But these things aren't impossible to find. You can definitely uncover these blog networks. Now, not all blog networks are affected, and some are affected at different rates. I haven't talked to the Linkvana guys lately, but John Leger at One Way Links has been public about his de-indexing rate, and he runs a very high quality blog network at One Way Links. Everything is human reviewed. Every blog is on a separate Class C subdomain. He's very particular about how things are done over there. And his indexing rate is higher than, or de-indexing rate rather, is higher than normal, but he's surviving. Josh just has been publishing on his blog over at ethicalim.com that he's got some blogs, some experimental case study blogs where he had ranked them with links from Linkvana and One Way Links, and those are still ranking. His blogs are unaffected. His backlinks from the blog networks have not been de-indexed to a point that would affect his rankings. So not everybody's affected uniformly, but that's the kind of stuff that's going on. So the question is sort of now, if you can't get links from blog networks, what do you do? And so I'm going to, instead of tackling that question, which is going to be the question for the podcast episode, 2 episodes from now, instead of talking about all the things we can do beside blog networks, I'm going to argue that blog networks are not going to die. Certainly, crummy blog networks that are easy to detect are going to die. And certainly people who use blog networks carelessly are going to be penalized. And I'll tell you, one penalty that we're seeing, there was a pretty good article that I read the other day. I'll put a link in the show notes about from microsites, I think. One of the signals that we're seeing is that in cases where lots of anchor text is identical, Google is detecting that. So the threshold that the analysis that I saw was sites that had backlinks where 60% of the backlinks had exactly the same anchor text, and the anchor text was the money keyword. So let's say your money keyword was blue suede shoes, and your anchor text didn't vary very much. 60% of the time it was exactly just blue suede shoes, and that linked back to your website. That's very unnatural, because normally if someone's backlinking to you, they're going to say, look here for great shoes made of blue suede, and they're going to say, you can find great blue suede shoes here, and they're going to anchor text that whole thing. So there's going to be a lot of variation around the theme of blue suede shoes. And in fact, Google has picked up on this, and apparently, at least anecdotally, it looks like that's one of the things that you need to watch out for. So my advice, this has always been my advice, don't use blog networks as your only source of backlinks. So that's always been my advice. I still think that blog networks, and for that matter, article marketing, which is not that different from blog networks, is still a viable part of backlinking strategy. Now, provided the blogs of the blog network are indexed. And so in the case of Jonathan over at One Way Links, he's making changes that he will implement sometime this month. He's hoping to be up and running with One Way Links 2.0 by June. And he's going to make changes based on what we're seeing with Google. And it remains to be seen whether or not this blog networking thing will survive. But my suspicion is that used more conservatively, blog networking will survive, as will article marketing, as will guest posting, as will the rest of these things that we'll talk about in a couple of episodes that you can still go do to get backlinks. Now, I've read articles from Matt Cutts before, and if you read Google's webmaster policy, what they will tell you is that fundamentally, if you read it carefully, what they say is they don't want you doing anything ever that results in a link for the purpose of manipulating rankings. That's their main thing. They don't ever want you to do anything on the internet that creates backlinks to your site for the purposes of manipulating ranking. That would be article marketing, blog networks, guest posting, and so forth. And again, the problem I have with that is there's two problems, really. One is, well, other people are doing it, so in order to compete, I don't really have a choice because they don't have a way to distinguish that. And the second thing is, if I make a great web page about blue suede shoes, who in the world is going to link to that? The people that are buying blue suede shoes don't have websites. So what? The blue suede shoes bloggers, all four of them, are going to link to my page? Probably not. They're selling blue suede shoes too. So, I mean, I don't really know, particularly with affiliate marketing, I think this is problematic. And I think ultimately there's no way for Google to tell the difference between a link that you put there in a guest post, in a do follow web comment or whatever. There's really no practical way. Certainly technical ways exist, but there's no practical way for them to sort all that out. So diversity is key, both in life as well as internet marketing. I think blog networks will survive this. We're going to have to be a little patient while guys like Jonathan Leger figure out exactly what they need to do in order to have a viable blog network. But don't panic. Now, with regard to panic, a lot of you have seen the other post on my site that went live yesterday regarding the Cornsheller site. Now, I talked a lot about the Cornsheller site. This turns out to be a really good case study for this problem, because that site, I threw it up very quickly. It was to demonstrate the ease of ranking for the keyword that I got from Keyword Canine. You can check that out over at keywordcanine.net. Keyword Canine was able to find a keyword that was easy to rank for and worth some money. I grabbed that keyword, threw up a site one night, and a week later or 2 weeks later, I was ranking for the keyword. And I did that primarily by throwing a couple of hundred of blog network links only at that website. That's not my normal site build process. I would never normally do that with just blog backlinks from blog network, but I did this time just to see what would happen. And what happened was the site ranked really well. It was up to over 100 visitors a day. It was making a few dollars a day. And then overnight, Google identified the weird link profile. That's my expectation. And shut it down because I wasn't careful about the link profile either. Everything was Cornshellers and antique Cornshellers. I mean, the link, it failed that 60% test. So my point there is that people, me included, are having sites go down, get losing traffic, losing money, hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of dollars a month overnight, just gone due to these changes. There's a lot of this last update called Penguin, which apparently has something to do with anchor text, has a lot of people upset because a lot of really good websites with legitimate link profiles are falling in the rankings. And so a lot of people are calling it the stinky penguin. In any case, these changes are going to come, and what John Leger says about not depending solely on Google for your business model is absolutely correct. And, we're just going to have to move forward through this. So that's what I've got for you today. I hope that helps you understand the backlinking situation, the blog network situation, the Google update situation a little better. There's a ton of material online. I'll give you a disclaimer is that I've tried to be as accurate as possible with this. Things are changing very fast. And if you have comments about something that you think that I got wrong, man, I would love that. Come on over to masonworld.com. Look for episode 26. Let's talk about it. Let me know if you've got sites affected. Tell me what's going on. If you've got a question, give me a call on the voice feedback hotline. And I would love to talk to you about what's going on with your websites and so forth. The big thing is don't panic. Don't freak out. These things are going to come and go. The only thing that is constant on the internet is change, and that's never going to change. So I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'll talk to you in a week.
Thank you for listening to the Mason World Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast. Got some thoughts about today's episode? Drop Mark a line at masonworld.com or call his digital feedback line at 214-444-8655. Most of all, have an awesome day.
You've been working for somebody else, but you want a business to run yourself. You want to know how to start and where to begin. Can you get out your comfort zone, my friend? Yes, you can do it right when